What if the browser you use every single day was more than just a window to the internet? What if it was actually a statement of independence? Well, today we're diving into the story of an Indian tech company that's starting with a browser but is aiming for something so much bigger, charting its own course, completely free from big tech.
So let's get right into it. This actually isn't the first time Zoho has stepped into the ring. They already took a swing at WhatsApp with their messaging app, Aratai. But this time, this feels different. They're not just challenging one giant, they're aiming for the entire big tech lineup: Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So where does this new challenge begin? Well, it starts with a piece of software you're almost certainly using to watch this right now: your web browser.
Okay, so on one side of the battlefield, you've got the usual suspects, right? The giants, Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge, that pretty much own the market. And on the other side, you've got this brand new contender from Zoho called Ulaa.
Now, Ulaa isn't exactly brand new. It's actually been out for a few months. But here's what's changed: the momentum. There's this growing support from both the public and the government for homegrown tech, and Zoho is now making a major push to get Ulaa out there as a real, credible alternative.
So, what's the pitch? I mean, why would anyone really switch from a browser they've been using for years? Well, Zoho is betting big on a few key features that they think make Ulaa stand out. And what's really smart here is how they've blended privacy with practicality. Ulaa is built to block ads and all that data tracking, which is awesome. But, and this is the key part, it doesn't force you to change how you work. It still supports all the Chrome extensions you're already used to. So the whole thing really hinges on this privacy-first promise. It's a direct shot at the business model of so many other browsers, which, let's be honest, often rely on tracking what you do to sell ads. Ulaa is basically saying, nope, we're not playing that game. But as we start to kind of peel back the layers here, it becomes super clear that this browser isn't just a product. No way. It's a statement. It's really a symbol of a much, much deeper strategy going on behind the scenes. And this right here, this is the pivot. When Zoho's founder was asked about the tech infrastructure behind all of their services, his answer was just incredibly clear. They are building a completely independent tech backbone, from the ground up, all on their own. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, just think of AWS and Azure as these invisible giants that run the internet. I mean, most of the apps and websites we use every single day run on their servers. So by choosing not to use them, Zoho is making a pretty radical decision to build its own foundation and avoid depending on these global tech monopolies. And this whole idea of strategic independence, it leads us straight to the core principle that's driving this entire effort: the really important idea of where your data actually lives and who ultimately controls it. And look, Zoho isn't just talking a big game here. They have literally built the physical infrastructure to back it all up. They've built 18 data centers just to keep Indian customer data inside India. That's a massive investment, all dedicated to this one principle. And this just shows you their commitment in action. When you use Zoho services, your data is physically sitting in data centers in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Chennai, with even more on the way. It's a huge contrast to a lot of foreign services, where your information gets sent and stored thousands of miles away. So when you put it all together, their entire strategy really rests on three powerful ideas. First, they control their own infrastructure. Second, they make sure India's data stays in India. And third, they're committed to your privacy and to open systems that work together. But okay, let's be real for a second. Having a great mission is one thing. But competing head-to-head with the world's biggest, richest tech companies, that is a whole other ballgame. Zoho is facing a massive, massive uphill battle. So what are the biggest hurdles? Well, first, there's the ecosystem. They have to build an entire suite of apps that feels just as seamless as Google's. Then there's monetization. How do you make money without selling user data for ads? And finally, security. They absolutely have to prove their systems are bulletproof to earn people's trust. And we've seen this movie before, right? History shows us just how incredibly tough this is. Other Indian apps that tried to take on big tech, like Koo and Hike, they had these really promising starts, but in the end, they just couldn't maintain that momentum and survive long term. So it all comes down to this one question. Zoho is offering this powerful, principled alternative, but is a belief in privacy and keeping your data local, is that enough to get millions of people to break the habits they've had for years and actually make the switch? Honestly, only time will tell.